Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. But if you're new here, I'm Chill Smith. I'm a hip hop artist, producer, and audio engineer. For the past 12 years, I've been using Pro Tools by Avid, but recently I've been rocking with Ableton Live. Today, we're gonna cook up a beat and we're going to record some vocals inside Ableton Live 12. And if you're digging the beat, I got a little sample pack for y'all to check out, but more on that later. Right now, let's get into a little preview of what we about to do.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes.
Basic setup and preferences. When you open up Ableton Live 12, you'll be met with this window. This is the session view, which is geared towards live DJing, hence why it's called live. But for production and recording, we are going to use the arrangement view. Shortcut to that is tab. You can go back and forth if you hit tab, or you can scroll up to the top, to the right-hand corner, and click this button. Now, let's adjust some settings in Ableton Live 12. The shortcut to get to your settings window is Command, or you can scroll up to the top, to the drop-down menu, hit Live, go to Settings, and here's your window. Now we are going to adjust our audio device. Go to Audio. I am using the Antelope Audio Zen Q, but in this section, this is where you choose your audio interface. Like if you're using the Focusrite Scarlett, you'd find it here. Change your input and your output. I'm gonna keep my sample rate at 48,000. And for my buffer size, I'm gonna keep it at 256 samples. Now I'm gonna come down to record, warp, and launch, and I'm gonna maintain all these settings. You definitely wanna make sure exclusive is checked off like that, so you can arm and solo multiple tracks at once. Now we are gonna set some shortcuts in our key map function. If I scroll to the top and I hit key, this is gonna pop up. Whatever is highlighted, you can add shortcuts to. Some of the things that are highlighted already have a shortcut. Right here, you can see I have a capital R and a number 1. These are the only 2 shortcuts I've set. If you want to follow along with me, I suggest you have the same shortcuts I'm using. I'm gonna hit key, off. Now I want to save this so whenever I open a new session, I am met with the same settings and I don't have to keep adjusting it. To do that, I'm going to scroll up to the drop-down menu. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to come to Save Live Set as Default. Hit Enter. This is something, when you save, you don't have to worry about it ever again unless you want a new template. Finding sounds and plugins in Ableton Live 12. Ableton makes it super easy to find sounds, instruments, and my favorite, sample packs. If you've downloaded a new plugin and you want to make sure you can use it in Ableton Live, we're going to open up our settings again, shortcut, Command, We're going to go to plugins. See, now it's scanning. So I usually have all of these on just so we can find the plugin without me having to locate it myself. But if you do have to locate it yourself, there's a browse here. Or you can just hit rescan again. I have not had an issue to where Ableton did not find a plugin when I hit rescan. If you're looking for a specific sound or a specific plugin, you can come up to your search bar, or you can hit the shortcut, which is Command F, and you can type in whatever you're trying to find. And also, you can categorize sounds and plugins any way you want. See, here I have my compression all in one category. And this is what I organize myself. Say I want to make it easy to find this Waves plugin. Right click and then check it under whatever I want to check it under. And you can also rename the category. And if you want to import some sample loops, you click here to add folder, and then you'd locate the folder. Now we're going to get into audio manipulation, chopping, and flipping samples. Now it's time to get into the fun stuff. So I'm gonna go into my sample pack right here, and I'm gonna pick out a loop. And to me, this is one of the best things about Ableton. To start browsing my sounds, I can just click. If I want to scroll to the next sound, I can just hit down on my keyboard. I think I have the sample that I want to use. I'm gonna go with this one. I can drag it to an audio track, or I can drag it in this empty section. And when you drag audio into Ableton, it automatically detects the BPM. See here, I have it as 116, dragged it in, 116. And since I have warp on, if I change the BPM, it's also going to change the sound. It has a lot of artifacts. See where it says beat? I usually change this to complex, and it's gonna have less of that weird sound going along with it. If I wanted to chop this up, I can drop this in something called Simpler. So I'm gonna go to my MIDI track. I already have Simpler as a shortcut. I'm gonna make sure I'm on my MIDI track here, of course, and I'm gonna double click. Or I can just drag it in. Now I can take this sample, drag it in here. And if I wanna chop it, I can go to slice. Right now I have it on slice by transient. I don't want that. I'm gonna do it by region. And now if I wanna use the keyboard, not my MIDI keyboard, but my computer keyboard, I can click up here. First, I gotta find what octave it is. So to go up and down octaves on your keyboard, Z is to go down an octave, X is to go up an octave. If y'all want to see me do a video on just like chopping up samples, let me know, because chopping up samples in Ableton is fun and it's easy and I love doing it. Also, I have a vinyl record player right there that I chop samples up on all the time. I mean, if y'all curious about that, let me know and I'll make a video about that too. I love doing this stuff. Also, to zoom in, you can hit plus on your keyboard. If you kind of want to make Ableton bigger, hold Command and hit plus or hit minus. If I right click and hit R, I can reverse the whole thing. To undo, Command Z, or if I just wanted to reverse one part specifically, I can click and highlight it, right click, hit reverse. I'm gonna hit one twice to bring it to the beginning. I'm gonna hit space bar to play it. But I'm gonna keep this simple. I'm gonna keep it at the original BPM that I had it, which is 116. I'm gonna come up here, click in here, and then I can just type it in. I'm gonna just type in 116 and hit enter. Now I'm back to the original tempo. I always suggest if you get sample loops, try not to just drag it and drop it in. Chop it up, manipulate it. I'm allowing myself to not do it for this because I made the sample. Also, another thing I love to do, and I for sure want to include this. I'm on the hand icon. If I double click, I change it from complex to repitch. Now, if I raise the BPM, it's going to raise the pitch of the audio. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to loop it. Shortcut for loop is Command L. So I'm going to hit Command L. And while I'm looping it, I'm going to change the BPM and it's going to manipulate the pitch of the audio. But like I said, I'm going to keep it the way I had it. So I'm going to bring this back to 116, hit enter. I'm going to take this off repitch. Now I want to loop this because I want to start building out my instrumental. And one of my rules is you can't go for more than 8 bars without changing something within the beat. I'm going to scroll this to the top just so it's a little bit more organized. I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to hit Command D to duplicate this. I'm going to bring this to the 49. And always remember, save your projects throughout the session. The shortcut to save is Command S. I'm going to Command S right now, and I'm going to save it as We Live. I'm going to put it in an appropriate folder, hit save. I'm going to hit delete. Now we're going to get into making some drums. I'm going to use a drum rack to add some drums. Typically, you want to do it with one shots. You can make this as simple or as complex as you want. Me, I like simple. I'm just going to put my open hats and my closed hat on a drum rack. If you're like a beast at finger drumming, you can add multiple sounds at once. But let's get into this real quick. Just a quick interruption. There's something I might have failed to mention. When you're using a MIDI track, see how this is highlighted and this box is a less saturated red. And if I trigger it, you're previewing the sound. If I move this down here, now it's previewing that sound. But if I arm it, it doesn't matter where I'm at. It's going to play that sound. And if I arm two at once, it's going to play both sounds at the same time. First, I'm going to locate my drum rack. I'm on my MIDI track, so I'm just going to double click drum rack. Now here, I can drag one shots. You can even drag loops too, but to me, it makes more sense to add one shots to your drum rack. So I'm going to locate some hi-hats. I'm going to hit Command F to bring up my search bar. Now it's lit here, and I'm just going to type hat. And now I have all selected. I don't want to search through like my whole library. I just want to search through specific sample packs. So I'm going to go to this sample pack, click on the drums, and this is something that I organized. This is going to vary depending on what sample packs that you have. Now I'm going to scroll through my hats and see what hat I want to use. I like to play the loop while I'm scrolling through this so I can see if it fits. I like that one. So now I'm going to drag this into my drum rack. Let me click drum rack, and I'm going to drag it down here. I have it on my A. I'm going to full screen for this to make sure that my picture is not in the way. All right, so now I have my hi-hat. I dragged it down here. If I hit A on my keyboard on my computer, it triggers my hi-hat. If I wanted to pitch it up or pitch it down, there's a transpose knob here. So if I turn this up, it's a higher pitch. Turn it down, it's a lower pitch. I think I'm going to pitch it up 3 semitones. All right, I like that. Now I'm going to find an open hat. I can hit Command F again, delete hat, and I'm just going to type in open. Again, I like to loop it while I'm previewing. I like that. I'm going to go with that. So drum rack, and I'm going to drag it. I'm going to drag it to the D. All right, if I want to play this to a metronome in Ableton Live is these 2 dots right here. So if I click this, and if I hit play, we're going to hear the metronome. And if you feel like your metronome is not loud enough, this part right here allows you to turn your metronome louder. Unfortunately, this is also connected to the volume of when you preview things. Keep that in mind. First, I'm just going to do the hi-hat, and then I'm going to add the open hat later. And I'm going to show you how to do that in MIDI with overdub. So now I'm just going to play my hi-hats. I want to take it off loop, so I'm going to Command L. I'm going to hit 1 twice, bring it to the beginning. I have capital R as my shortcut to record, and I have my metronome on, and it's a 2-bar count in. So now I'm going to hit R. All right, I didn't play it perfectly, of course, but that's what quantizing is for. So now I'm going to turn off my metronome because that's annoying to listen to. I'm going to make sure it's the hand icon, and I'm going to double click. And down here, I have my piano roll. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to click inside the piano roll to make sure when I do move something that it is inside the piano roll. I'm going to Command A to highlight everything. And first, I want to make sure I'm going to snap this to the correct time signature. Shortcut for that is Shift Command U. And I want to quantize it to 1/16. And to quantize it, it already quantized, but If you know your time signature is correct, you can just hit Command U and just make sure everything is highlighted. Now, if I play it, it should be right on the grid. Now I want to add a open hat, but I don't want to record over my hi-hats. So I'm going to come up to the top. See this plus sign right here? I'm going to engage that. This is going to allow me to overdub my MIDI track. I'm going to hit 1 twice to bring it to the beginning. Now I'm going to hit R to start recording. I also want to quantize that. So I'm gonna double click to where the hand icon. Everything's already selected. I'm pretty confident I can quantize this to 16th notes. So I'm just Command U. It's gonna snap it to the grid. I'm just gonna lower this a little bit. That is the volume right there. And now I wanna pan it. You see this C right here? That stands for center in Ableton Live. To pan things, you turn it down, which makes it go left, or you scroll up, which makes it go to the right speaker. I'm gonna bring it to the left speaker. And I got some stuff hanging here. I wanna make sure that I'm snapped right on the grid. Delete that. I'm gonna zoom out and I'm gonna consolidate this. So I'm gonna hit Command J and I'm also gonna duplicate this. So now I'm gonna make sure this is highlighted and then hit Command D. I like to work within 8-bar loops. And if you get lost and you wanna find your drum rack again, plugins in Ableton, you have to go to the lower right-hand corner, click inside here. And also you can do a couple more things in here. I can right click and I can reverse the sample if I want. Let's see how that sounds. I actually did not plan it and I like it. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna duplicate this to make sure it matches the other ones. And I'm gonna hold Shift, hit the first one, consolidate that just so it's just one piece. And if I don't like where it's starting or where it's ending, I can move these flags here. And it's a little too loud for me, so I'm just turn down the volume. I want it to be subtle. A little bit louder. So now I'm gonna add either a snare or a clap. I'm kind of doing this in real time. I'm gonna start with a snare, see how I feel about that. And I'm not gonna use drum rack for this. I'm gonna use Simpler. Also, while you're scrolling right, you know how I told you can hit down to go to the next one? If you wanna trigger it again, hit the right arrow on your keyboard like this. I'm gonna go with 3. I like this one the most. All right, so I got my MIDI track highlighted and I'm just gonna double click snare. And now my snare is on this track right here. And what I like about this is that now I can play it at different pitches. So I'm too low of a pitch, so I'm gonna hit X to pitch it up. I'm gonna just hit R and I'm gonna go for it. All right, cool. Now time to quantize. My time signature seems okay, but if I didn't want to look at it at 1/16, I'm gonna click here. I'll change it to quarter notes. This just changes the display. It doesn't change what it quantizes to. So by looking at this, if I change this to 1/8, that looks more accurate to the grid that I should snap it to. So now I'm gonna choose 1/8 here, and now I'm gonna play it and see if it worked out. If I don't want to play it the whole thing from the beginning, if I scroll my cursor here, see how it becomes a speaker? And if I just click, it'll start playing it from that position. Down here is my velocity. See this piece right here? And I can scroll this up. This is my velocity. So I'm gonna scroll this all the way to the top so it's maximum velocity. Scroll that back down. I'm just gonna turn this volume down right now because I don't wanna blow my ears out. And I'm just gonna pan my snare. I'm gonna pan it to the right. Now I'm gonna duplicate that. Command S to save. Now, time to add some 808s. I'm gonna make another MIDI track. The shortcut to that is Command Shift T. There's my MIDI track, and I'm gonna come back to my SOUNDSMITH Sample Pack, Volume 1, and I'm gonna pick an 808 out of here. If you notice, there's no results here, just because I still have snare typed into the browse. So I'm gonna click in here and just hit delete. Now I'm gonna pick out the 808 I'm gonna throw on this beat. I'm pretty sure I know which one I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with 27. First, I need to create a MIDI region, and I like to have my 808s in 8-bar loops. So in my arrangement view area, I'm gonna click and highlight this section, and I'm gonna hit Shift Command M, and that's gonna make a MIDI region. I am in F minor, so I'm gonna scroll up to the top here. I'm in C major right now. I don't want that. I'm gonna click F minor. And if I bring up my piano roll, now you see if I have highlighted scale here. So this is telling me the proper keys in F minor. And if I hit scale, now the only thing that's showing up is the notes relative to whatever key you have Ableton assigned to. I don't want to type my 808s in 16th notes. I'm going to change this, and I'm going to make it, I'm going to go with 1/2. And I'm going to start with the root note. Just real quick, just some like mixing stuff. I do want my 808s to kind of cut through now. So I'm just going to throw a quick EQ on this sample. So I'm going to scroll here. I can hit Command F, and I'm just going to type EQ. I'm just going to use the stock Ableton EQ. I'm going to go with the EQ 8. That means it has 8 bands, so 8 parts for me to adjust it. And I'm just going to change this to a high pass filter. And I'm going to scroll this to, I'll scroll it up to about 200 hertz. So now the 808 should cut through a little bit more. And now I'm just going to pencil in my 808s. Say you're in the piano roll and you're not hitting the right octave that you want to hit. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to click inside here. I'm going to stop it from playing. I'm going to hit Command A. Now, if I hold Shift and hit down on my keyboard, it's going to bring it down an octave. I decided that I need this to be quarter notes. This, I'm going to scroll, drag that, and I'm just going to duplicate it over, and then I'm just going to change things as it plays. So I'm bringing my velocities up. Now I'm going to make it 1/8. If I want these to extend to each other, I'm going to make sure they're all selected, and I'm going to hit legato. Sometimes you got to pitch it up to make sure hitting the note that you wanted to hit. I want to add a kick drum. I hardly ever drag and drop in audio, just to show you that it is possible to take a one shot, drag it into an audio track, zoom in. I'm going to lower the volume because I don't want to blow my ears out. Take this, and then, you know, I can Command C to copy it and kind of place it where I want to put it, right? And for the sake of the video, I'll do it this way. Right there. And then I'm gonna just click here, this section, and then duplicate. And I want to consolidate this whole piece so it's just one piece so it looks more organized. I'm gonna hold Shift, click the first one. I'm gonna Command J to consolidate. It makes it one piece. When it comes to 808s and kicks, they conflict a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some side chaining. But first, let's organize our tracks and let's name them. If I click inside here and I hit Command R, I'm just gonna name this We Live. This, click inside, Command R, and this is my hats. It's my snare, my 808. There's nothing on here. I'm just going to delete this. Cut. Here, I'm going to call it kick. Now, I actually want to side chain the sample and the 808 to the kick drum. So I'm going to loop this. I'm going to scroll my 808 and my sample next to each other. I'm going to hold Shift and click both of these. And now I'm going to hit Command G. So now this is a group. Whatever plugin I put on this channel is going to affect whatever is in the group. But in this case, it's going to affect the sample loop and my 808. And I'm going to use the stock compressor. So just to find the stock compressor, I'm going to hit Command F, and I'm going to type compressor in our first one. So double click that. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And see this arrow right here? This arrow right here, that's within this yellow circle. I'm going to click that. I'm going to click off EQ, and I'm going to click side chain. I'm going to change audio from, it says no input. I'm going to change that to kick. And now as I play it, when I lower the threshold, it's going to start ducking the sound so the kick can come through. I'm going to raise the attack. I'm gonna be lazy and just hit auto on the release. And while I'm doing this, I want to make sure my main track is not clipping. This is my master track. So if I play this, I can stand to turn everything down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the hat. I'm going to hold shift, click this. This is all highlighted. So if I turn this down, it's going to turn them all down. And since I have these grouped, I'm just going to turn down the group. It's quieter, but I have a lot more headroom now on my master fader, so I can add more sounds without things clipping and getting distorted. And hopefully I'm not breaking people's speakers with this kick drum. Now we about to record some rap vocals inside Ableton Live. My man New Breed is coming over. Fire dude, he about to come, you know what I mean, kill it. But before he comes over, I want to get our Ableton Live session ready to track him, ready to get this thing going. So in between, I added some more production, which I'll go over after we record my man New Breed. But I want to get this organized. So only thing I'm really focusing on is recording inside Ableton. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group the entire instrumental together. I'm going to click the one on the very bottom. I'm going to scroll up to the top while holding shift. I'm holding shift. I'm going to click the top track and I'm going to group all of these together. So now I'm going to hit Command G and now it's grouped all together. And I want to keep this organized. So I'm going to rename it. Click inside here where it says one group. I'm going to hit Command R and I'm just going to name this beat. Hit enter. I want to change the color. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to make it this yellow color. Now I just want to collapse this. So the only thing I'm focusing on is the vocal part. So within this circle, there's a couple lines here. I'm going to click that. And now that just collapsed the beat. The sound is still there, but it's less to look at, which for me is better workflow. So now I want to create an audio track for a New Breed to rap on. And of course, we're going to use shortcuts. The shortcut to create an audio track is Command T. And I'm going to name this vocals ahead of time. So click inside here again, Command R, and I'm going to put VOX, which is just short for vocals. Hit enter. He's probably going to do some doubles and some ad libs. So I'm just going to make those tracks right now. Now I got to wait for my bro to come over and he'll be here in 3, 2, 1. What up, y'all? As you see, I got my man New Breed with me. Say what up.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
Y'all can't really hear him because I don't have his mic set up right now at the moment. You can only hear me, but you can't see me. Well, you can kind of see me if I wave my hand here. First thing we got to do is make sure we get some level into the microphone. So in Ableton Live, there's a button right here with a circle inside. We're going to click that. And this is arming the track. Now you see there's a green bar that's responding to my voice. But if New Breed says something.
Mic check.
Hey, there he is. Quick note, this section right here is your monitoring section. So if you're not able to hear the signal coming into Ableton, this is probably off. I always keep this on auto so I can monitor whatever is going into Ableton Live. You guys might have, your condenser microphone plugged right into your Focusrite or whatever you got. And this is the part where we're going to gain stage. Gain staging is just making sure that you're getting adequate level into your DAW or into whatever part you're recording into. We don't want it too low. We don't want it too hot. Low level, you're going to have a lot of... Then I forgot the word again. Yeah. Your noise level, when you start compressing, you're going to be turning up your noise level. It's not going to sound good. If you have too much signal going in, you're going to be clipping and it's going to distort. And once you record it, there's nothing you can do about that. So now we're going to take some level. We got some auto-tune on his voice. We got some reverb on here already. Just so you guys know how to add reverb. When you open up Ableton, it always gives you a reverb return and a delay return. And to add delay to that track, there's a rectangle here. If I turn this all the way back down again, if New Breed says something.
Yes.
No reverb. If I turn it back up.
Back again.
Hey, there's the reverb. If I turn this one up, there's delay. We don't want delay right now. I was going crazy. We don't want delay right now. Maybe later, maybe in the mix, but we're not going to track with delay. We're just going to have our auto-tune and we're going to have some reverb. So now, as he's rapping, I'm going to adjust my level to get good gain staging. So, New Breed, are you ready?
Indeed.
All right, let's go. It's going to count us in.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes. Paper chasing, talking big guap. Still smoking good strain. Never ever will the shit stop. Some things don't change.
Dope. All right. If we want to record over that, right? So Ableton has something called takes. So we're gonna record over that again, and then we're gonna pick out, which take that we like more. So you ready to try that again?
Indeed, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes. Paper chasing, talking big guap. Still smoking good strain. Never ever will the shit stop. Some things don't change.
So now if I go to my vocal track, I'm going to right click and I'm scroll down and it says show takes. There's multiple takes in here because, Yeah, so we recorded some things before and then, I don't know.
Some practice.
Yeah, some practice. I lied to y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. We're going to fully track the song and then we'll get back to you guys. So next time you see us, song will be laid out. We're going to check it out and then we're going to get into mixing the song. All right, I'll see y'all in a bit. Before we get into fully mixing the song, and this is something that I probably shouldn't have done earlier, we're going to mark the song so we can find where the hook is, where the chorus is, and where the verses are. So I'm in my arrangement view. I'm going to make sure my playhead is at the beginning. I'm going to hit set, and this number is going to pop up. It says 1. And this little flag, I'm going to click inside the flag. It turns to lighter gray. I'm going to hit Command R, and I'm going to type intro. I know this is my chorus or my hook, so I'm going to bring my playhead here. I'm going to hit set again. I'm going to click inside this flag. I'm going to hit Command R, and I'm just going to type hook. I know this is my verse. Bring my playhead there. Hit set. Same thing. Click inside here. Command R. That's the verse. I'm going to lay the rest of this out, and I'll see y'all in the mix. Mixing rap vocals inside Ableton Live 12. This is pretty much just going to be an overview of the mix because I don't want this video to be 3 hours long. So like I said before, I have my beat all inside one folder. So I'm going to collapse this. So now I can focus on the vocals. These are already mixed. I'm just going to show you the plugins I have and explain my thought process behind it. So here I have the hook inside one group. So if I collapse that, the hook is gone. I'm going to open this here. And there's only the lead hook and some harmonies that I panned hard right and hard left and some ad libs. We can give it a listen real quick.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes. Paper chasing, talking big guap. Still smoking good strain.
So on the lead hook, auto-tune, of course. And I have this vocal rider by Waves. This plugin has probably been on every single mix that I've done for the past 7 years. It's always the first thing I add on. So essentially, it's turning the vocals up and down so you don't have to automate it. I'm going to mute all this other stuff down here so we can focus on one plugin at a time.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes.
Then next, I have an EQ. If I press inside this little circle with the wrench inside, it'll open the plugin. This is Fab Filter Pro Q3. Everybody has this plugin. I'm just rolling off the low end so the vocals don't compete with the bass and the 808s. I roll off the high end a little bit. This is above the human hearing frequency spectrum anyway, so I just roll that off to kind of clean things up. And here, I'm using this as a de-esser. This is the dynamic EQ section of the Pro Q. So if I play it.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes.
Next, I have a compressor by Universal Audio. This is one of my favorite compressors ever because of how simple it is. It's just two knobs, this peak reduction, and this gain. And this is modeled after the famous LA2A compressor.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes.
And then after this, I have a shelf EQ by Universal Audio. And I'm just adding some high end to it. I'm adding some air to it so it kind of cuts through a little bit more.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing.
And then on this grouped track, everything related to the hook is inside of here. And on this track, I have another EQ to kind of roll off those bass frequencies again. And here I have the Universal Audio SSL G-Bus compressor. I don't want to go crazy with compression, just some light compression to kind of glue things together.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing.
I'm going to collapse this. Now I'm going to go into the lead vocals. And it's pretty much a similar process to how I mix the hook. And just another tip, if you feel like something is too quiet, avoid turning things up. Try to turn things down before you start turning things up because you want to leave headroom in your master fader. Now within the instrumental, you notice that some of these have this blue highlight around it. It's because I froze the track. When you freeze the track, it takes up less CPU on your computer so you don't crash. And I did it on the MIDI tracks because MIDI takes up a lot more information on your CPU. And this is how you freeze your tracks. If you right click here, go to freeze. Of course, it will say freeze. Mine says unfrozen because it's frozen. Then you hit that. But if you've fully committed, you can freeze and flatten it. Mine's already frozen, so I'm just going to flatten this. And this is going to turn my MIDI tracks into audio. Just know when you freeze and flatten, whatever plugins you have on that track is now printed into the audio, and there's no undoing that. If you notice here, I got this little Mario effect. I have a widener on here. This is kind of give it a little bit more of a stereo image. This plugin right here is actually free too. I highly suggest this one. I use it all the time. But if I freeze and flatten it, the plugin is now gone because it is printed into the audio track. Also on my beat, I have a limiter on here to kind of just control some of the dynamics. Let's get the whole thing a listen. Let's take a listen to the whole song.
Some things don't change.
Hey, yo, chill, Smith.
Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes. Paper chasing, talking big guap. Still smoking good strain. Never ever will the shit stop. Some things don't change. Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes. Paper chasing, talking big guap. Still smoking good strain. Never ever will the shit stop. Some things don't change. Going insane, this shit ain't a hobby. Walk in the booth like who finna get body. Chill on the beat, really who gonna stop me? Got chill on the board, chop in like karate. Do this with ease, don't wanna sound cocky, but I got that smoke at the studio foggy. Been independent, if no one beside me, I'll be alone when shit'll get rocky. Had me a dream I was in a Bugatti, flexing with somebody booing the shotty. R&B singer resemble Ashanti, and she got a body that can mesmerize me. Cleaning me up after she get me sloppy. Head was so good it got me feeling groggy. Pretty Latina said gracias poppy. She flashing more lights than a big paparazzi. Now watch me. Taking hits of good medicine. All these girls wanna be angels, but everybody done medicine. Conversations about threesome, double entendre, bring a friend. Shooting my shot, I let it fly. Bang, bang, breathe for the win. Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes. Paper chasing, talking big guap. Still smoking good strain. Never ever will the shit stop. Some things don't change. Still rolling like a big shot. I be doing my thing. Bending corners when I spin blocks. Still swerving them lanes. Paper chasing, talking big guap. Still smoking good strain. Never ever will the shit stop.
quick before y'all try to cut me up. I have UAD Spark, okay? Paying monthly for it, all right? I have the plugin. If you have made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Hopefully, you learned everything you needed to learn on how to operate Ableton Live 12 as a beginner or intermediate. If you're curious on the sample pack, there is a link in the description. There's also a link to the song that we recorded and made here in the description. Shout out to New Breed. If you have any questions, obviously, you can leave them in the comments. You can shoot me an email. You can find me on Instagram. I'll respond to everything. And if you're curious on the setup I have here in this studio, check out this video right here. I appreciate y'all.